This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's an honor to have you here. You're on Don's A52 channel, and I'm out in the cemetery next to where I live. They just cut down this big old cedar tree. Must be 100 years old. I tell you what, time flies when you're having fun out here in southwest Nebraska. And no matter what you do, time never stops. But how about 2013 and looking back at it and see if we missed anything or if you'd forgotten some things? Well, the beginning of the year, in February, they had a farmer north of McCook had his pivot system, the irrigation pipe, stolen. The whole thing stolen. They wanted it for scrap iron, of course. And but the cops caught him. Well, they contacted him, said, we got the guy, and he said, but you can't have your pipes back because they are evidence, so we got to impound them till after the trial. Okay. Well, he ended up, they said, we got the trial keeps postponing it, and so through the summer when he most needed that irrigation to run his farm and to give him a decent crop, they wouldn't give it to him. They wouldn't give it to him. And so his crops, in this last dry year, he had next to nothing for crops. Nothing for crops. At the same time, the same government that said you can't have your irrigation pipes back because they're evidence, they charged him as if he was getting irrigated ground and charging him $30 land taxes rather than about $12 for dry land crop taxes per acre. And so he got hammered big time as if he was irrigating, and he wasn't irrigating. And that's just the kind of craziness. And he almost lost his farm because of it. And he still hasn't got his pipes back. He said it might be next year, still another dry year. And he said, I don't know how long I can hold out. Can you imagine the insanity of a crime being committed against you, and then the state steps in and makes even a worse crime out of it? No different than if somebody robbed Walmart, you wouldn't expect them to keep that store closed for a year, would you? Till they got the trial over? Hardly. But they do this farmer. That was one of them. I had a farmer slash rancher south of McCook, and he was having a real tough dry country, and last few years have just been terrible for drought. These cattle were needing more feed than he could produce. And cattle prices are up, but he said it doesn't matter if you don't have the feed, and the feed price was getting terrible price. I kid you not. So he said, I either got to quit farming, get rid of the cattle, and he finally came up with an idea. He said, I'm going to ship them up to South Dakota this last fall. He said they got ground up there and the rent is reasonable, so he trucked them up there, his whole herd. And he got them there the week before they had that terrible blizzard, and it was one of the worst they've had up there in forever. Over 100,000 head of cattle died up there, including 90% of the cattle he had. He's done farming now. He's done farming. That's just how quickly and how easily it is for farmers to get hammered in southwest Nebraska. You just seen a video of the bones of a big old bull. Now the owner, he took the head. Other than that, nothing was touched after cattle mutilation. They cut the sex organs out of it, and they cut the tongue out and a few things. Other than that, there was nothing disturbed by whoever had killed it. But the crazy thing of it was, that was 5 years ago. I said 5 years. And in that 5 years, I have never in my 60 years of life seen a death scene of an animal that the bones weren't scattered all over. You'd be lucky if you'd find one bone here and one bone way over there, because the animals and the critters drag them around, and the mice eat on them and everything. But not one bone has been taken. They're all there as it died. Now that's a cattle mutilation, I'm here to tell you.